What is going on, Gulf Coast Nation? Guys, welcome back to another episode. This week, we're in the office, the brand new office that we just moved into. For those of you who do not know, Adam, Blaine, and myself are in a house together, and we have a designated office for obviously editing you guys' videos, as well as getting the guys to work on social media, as well as doing in-house videos just like this one. This week we're going to be showing you guys HollowCore braid to HollowCore braid splice.
Gulf Coast Nation is sponsored by Sandbar Tackle, keeping you hooked. Steadfast Rods, the name says it all. Andy Andrews, New York Times best-selling author. Terra Firma Tackle. Austin Legacy Knives, every knife has a story. Tell yours. Blank Slate Customs. Fish Gum, excite the strike. Pontchartrain Jigs.
Inside of my HollowCore needle here. Then you're just going to start winding at low speed. You want, ideally,
that would be awesome.
You can do this for a lot of different reasons. For our reason in particular right now, we got cut off the other night. We want to add braid to our Makira 80 wide, but I don't want to do a uni-to-uni. We have the time at home, and this HollowCore splice holds 100% strength retention. So let's get to it. Before we get started, obviously I want to walk you guys through what you need now traditionally. The reason I'm showing you guys this video is it's not just a traditional hollow to hollow splice with a braid splicing tool. I just actually have a normal HollowCore needle right here, as I'm showing you guys the HollowCore needle. Very simple, just has a HollowCore, or it's hollow in the middle. And traditionally you put mono in one side, splice it into braid, but we're going to be modifying this needle today with a little trick to make it be able to splice braid. So I've got a short segment of 100-pound mono. This is a 130 to 150 pound mono splicing needle. So you obviously just take this 100-pound mono right here and use it to, make the braid stick. It's as simple as that. So what I like to do is about a 6-foot section. This table's about 6 foot. So I'm just going to take a 6 foot or so section, and I like to start with my spool side. So we're going to be putting this 16 strand HollowCore 200-pound braid into it first. So you want to leave yourself on your line off the reel, a 6 foot section. And then when you find that place where it's about 6 feet, it's not a perfect science, or it doesn't have to be a perfect science, you can put your tag end over there and start your deal. So basically you're going to take your braid that you're going to be splicing in. I like to wet it a little bit. I'm going to try to show you on this GoPro here if I can get it to work. As you can see, that braid end likes to flare. Very frustrating stuff. So I try to just kind of cone it up the best I can, and if you need to, you can make a recut, which I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I'm going to have to do. All right, I'm not even sure that was any better, but voila. Okay. That took 2 forevers, but so what I do is I'm obviously just going to go about halfway down my needle here, and obviously you can see it's very loose, back and forth. Random 100-pound mono. You probably use 80, and you're just going to stuff it on the inside, and your goal there is obviously just to fill, kind of jam that braid in there so it does not come out. Okay, that was easy. All right, so you've got your, and I leave a little bit obviously because that's how you pull it out. So you've got your braid going in and a little section of 100-pound mono. All right, so again, I'm just gonna measure out my 6 foot-ish mark right there. Make sure I've got it. And then you just take your braid up right here. You see it bunches up, just like a Chinese finger trap, same idea. Bunch a little bit of it up, kind of get it spread out, and then you just use a little finger and angle technique to get it started. And then once you're in like that, kind of wet it down a little bit. Little moisture helps expand that HollowCore, and then it's just really easy from there on. You just grab from the tip, push, 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 and it's going to slide right inside that needle, and you're going to keep going until you get to here. And then this is kind of a pivotal moment here. As you slide this splice over the top, you just want to very gently get another bunch here. Very gently, just push it over the top. And as you can see now, you have your splice started where your braid goes right inside of your main line. And we're just going to continue this for, again, about a 6 foot section, 6 foot on each side, obviously 12 feet total. So now I've got just about 6 feet or so, looks like a little bit more than 6 feet, of my first part of my splice. So I'm going to take this needle, I just crease it over, pop the needle right out, and then as I bunch this up, I'm just going to grab the end and pull, grab the end and pull, grab the end and pull, and then I'm going to obviously release my braid. Sometimes, yes, just like it happened here, your mono enjoys staying on the inside too, and you just have to do the same thing as the needle. Pop that little guy out of there. Just popped him out. All right, and then what you want to do, is obviously take your mono or your braid here. I'm gonna reel the slack up to the splice. All right. Let's see here, right here, okay. And you just want to run all that slack out. So basically it starts right here. I might do another half reel here. So yes, it's right here at the tip. And I'm just going to run my hand all the way down, trying to get all this slack out of the line. All right, there we go. So it's pretty good, and it also gives me a really good starting point because you can see right here where the next side of my splice needs to start. So I'll show you here on the second camera once I get this all organized in my hand. So you've got this intersection right here where the the gray braid goes inside the blue, and then the blue now obviously needs to go inside the gray and all the way back up here. So I'm going to start on that with the exact same technique from earlier, being I take the end of my main line, try to thread it, hopefully it's simple. So I'm putting that blue braid inside of my HollowCore needle here, and then again take a short section of 100-pound mono, just jam it in there. Nothing overcomplicated here. Not putting much pressure out, so as long as everything's streamlined and you're not pulling too hard out. And then a good little tip here that I do so everything lays in nicely here is kind of find where you want these two pieces to be, and that's where you're going to start your splice. I'm trying to point with the HollowCore needle here, and I'm just going to back this braid down, back it down just a smidge so I get my area to work in here. Do the same thing, kind of scrunch this up. And then just like before, take your HollowCore needle at the right angle. It should just pop right in there like that. And then now we're off to splicing. And again, basically, let me get this started here before I mess it up. Right over the top. Takes a little bit. All right, let's make sure everything's in line here. There we go, perfect. Once you get that initial pop over, it should be just pretty simply splicing right on the inside. And once you get close, what you want to do is you really want to make sure, I'm trying to show you guys in this GoPro, as this loop goes out, that you're very precise and not going over. Because if you go over, it's a little bit tricky. It's not impossible, obviously, but Just makes life easy on yourself. So I'm seeing this loop down here as I'm splicing. I'm trying to splice the correct amount. Obviously off an estimate there. See that loop come all the way. I think it's gonna come all the way out. Yes it is. Bop. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, I know I've got the distance for it, so I'm gonna pop this needle out like I normally do. Pop it out here, pull, pull, pull it out, okay. So now what we're gonna do is you cycle it all the way back to this knot here. You might have a little bit of overlap like this. You can see this overlap that I have right here. No big deal, not a tang. Because then, basically what you do here to make sure this all sets perfect is you're gonna take each side, you're gonna pull it, go down, pull it, go down. As you can see, our intersection of blue and gray braid right here is tight, and then you're just gonna go ahead and run that all the way down. That all the way down. Yes, you might lose a couple inches of splice, but that's no big deal at all. So we'll do it one way, I'm gonna do it all the way the other way, and I'm probably gonna do it one more time all the way this way. All right, so now basically that's it. Get that knife away from my splice, but your splice is done. So you have your old line, which is our blue right here, and then our new line, which is our gray braid on top. You've got a HollowCore to HollowCore splice. There is absolutely no knot there. Gray might not be the best. There's no knot there whatsoever. You have 100% line strength and connection through your HollowCore splice, and you're good to go. It's gonna go right through your rollers, right through your guides, right through your hand, just perfect. And honestly, if you did the same color braid without marking it on a Sharpie, you might never know. So let's jump over. We're gonna meet up with Blaine, and we are gonna show you guys how to properly spool on braid on a big shark reel under very high tension at home without paying somebody at a shop to do it, or doing it at home and spooling it on too loose. So let's get to it. All right, so we've got our splice done, and traditionally what I do is I have a piece of rebar, and then I'll put 2 cinder blocks leaning up against on the side, but we can't find the rebar, of course, and Blaine is better than cinder blocks because the cinder blocks tend to fall over, but that's a good technique if you are doing this solo. I'll try to find some pictures and overlay on the video of times I've spooled it up by myself in the past, but it's always good to have a buddy if you can help it. So I'm going to just obviously slowly start my reeling process. Right here you can see where the splice kind of starts. Obviously it gets a little thicker, and I'm just going to, I don't want to pinch this really hard because I don't want to put that slack back up into that splice. So I'm just going to kind of let it barely go through my hands here. Might be a little bit of an overlay, no problem. And then obviously I'm back to my knot again, or my overlay, my splice right here, where it goes the other direction. Obviously when it goes the other direction, you can pinch really hard, try to get all that slack out. And then we're tight again. On any reel, if you have the option, go ahead and kick it down into low speed, bump your drag up. Oh my gosh. Then you're just gonna start winding in low speed. Ideally, you want it to be right around 20 to 22 pounds of pressure. You want it really tight, because if braid goes on loose, one, that's just bad practice. Your line lay could be bad. You won't hold as much braid, but on a more serious note, you're fighting a big fish. The braid is loose under heavy, heavy pressure, 45, 50, 60 pounds of drag, even more. Obviously that braid is going to dig down into itself, and then that will obviously cause the reel to lock up, or the spool to lock up, or the braid to lock up, and then you're holding basically all the pressure that you can hold between you and the fish with no give, no drag. So do it at home, right? Make sure you get this braid on tight. If you do take it to a shop, check them. While they're doing it, check them that they're spooling it on tight. Go ahead and mention that you need it on as tight as possible. Some machines cannot put out 22 pounds of pressure for the bigger reels, or some people just don't do it. So for your health and safety, just make sure that somebody spools it on right for you, if you do it. But I like to do it at home, because then, ooh, that is a horrible noise.
It is awful.
Then you know that it's done right if you do it yourself. Yes, I am a pirate! Ow! 200 years too late! The cannons don't thunder, there's nothing to plunder. I'm an over... Ow! I just pinched my butt.
Real.
I'm another 40 victim of fame. Been stuck inside all day. It's been a rough day. I'm normally not stuck inside, ever. Okay. Here's the old girl. Just enough room for some good top shot. Kind of how we like to spool these up for the summertime, or really for any time. For our area, which is the panhandle of Florida, when we shark fish, is about 50 to 75 yards of 200-pound mono on top. You can go a little bit longer. I know the East Coast guys like 100, 150 yards of top shot, but we change lines a bunch because we fish for sharks a bunch, because we run shark fishing charters. Check out the link in the description below, GulfCoastNation.com, to book your trip if you're interested in going shark fishing with us. But we do change mono a lot because we change it after every single shark. Last year we caught and tagged 205 different sharks, 15 over 10 foot, 3 over 12 foot, 42 tiger sharks. It was an awesome year last year, but we do change top shot a bunch. So we use short top shots, so we don't go through our LP 25-pound mono schools very much. It takes about 3 months to go through one of those, which is 5,835 yards or something like that. So that's why we do that, if you were wondering. And you got obviously good capacity on the reel for when we hook that big hammer, or really when we foul hook that big hammer. No big shark should ever spool you if you hook it in the mouth. That's just my opinion, and the opinion of some greats that I talk to around me. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. Hope you guys got something out of it. If you did, be sure to give us a thumbs up. All right, drop a comment below, because that helps us, believe it or not. I'm not just asking you for no reason. Share it with your friends, because that helps us out. And as always, we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.